The young woman, Rachel, lived in this house for only a few months after he left her an inheritance from an unnamed relative whom she never even suspected. Exhausted by the modern urban rhythm of life, she decided to leave the hustle and bustle of New York and settle in this secluded corner on the outskirts of Massachusetts, where century-old trees rustled faintly in the leaves. Rachel didn't think that her peaceful privacy would be disrupted by such unpredictable encounters. Just a few hours ago, a strange dream woke her up, forcing her to leave her warm bed early and go in search of the source of the sound, thanks to which she imagined the voices of ancient times. She understood that there was something in this house that went down in the history of her family, but remained hidden behind the veil of time. Every night she saw the same picture in her dream: a huge white moon over a gray forest, and a woman, grandly dressed, coming out of the forest, pointing to an abandoned part of the garden. And now, standing in front of the wonderful light that shone in the room, Rachel felt as if she was being drawn into a cherished secret that she had to discover. Rachel spent day after day searching for a solution. She spent sleepless nights poring over old, dusty books in the library and seemed to have begun to understand the language used by the previous owners of the house. Not far from the estate began a dense forest, which she often went for walks, and where she unexpectedly met an old man who seemed to know her much better than a simple meeting should have allowed. At first, he didn't say anything, just watching her with wise eyes full of knowledge. But one day he spoke. His words were intertwined with the secrets of the past, which revived in Rachel a whole stream of feelings and memories. He told her about the extraordinary events that happened hundreds of years ago, when this house belonged to her ancient ancestors. At one point, the old man said, "You have to find for yourself what is left for you. Your mission is to complete their journey." Rachel didn't fully understand, but she knew she had to follow his advice. Her search continued, sometimes developing into a real obsession. She opened secret niches under the stairs and sorted through old chests in the attic. In her hands were the cards that seemed to be the keys to another covenant. Weeks passed, then months. Rachel was inexorably plunging into the maelstrom of time, pushing the boundaries of possibilities. One day, walking through the woods until sunset, Rachel found an abandoned fountain. In its center was a statuette that had never noticed it before. The statuette depicted a woman like the one Rachel dreamed about every night. The old man, who reappeared from the shadows of the forest, nodded silently and held out his hand. In his instantaneous touch was all her past, present, and future, connected with the mystery of her family. She realized that her mission was not just the completion of old cases, but the beginning of completely new ones. Rachel realized that the light in the darkened room was not just ice, not a lost treasure, but a symbol of a long line of ancestors that continued to weave its web of time through her. She knew that now she could enter this light and leave her place in the majestic history created before her birth. Returning home from the fountain, Rachel looked at the house with different eyes. She saw not the depressive shadow of the past, but her family's greatest artifact, full of untapped possibilities. She didn't just open the door when she saw the silver light. She crossed the threshold of her new life, shrouded in mysticism and expectation of a new beginning. There were still mysteries ahead of Rachel, but she was now filled with the determination and confidence that home and her own discovery had given her. As Rachel delved into the mysteries of her family, the house gradually revealed its mysteries, and life in it took on a new sound. The sun's rays, filtering through the tall windows of the library, highlighted the letters on the ancient scrolls that she had not yet had time to read. There were words on the scrolls that spoke of events long forgotten in the world. Every night she trusted these texts, and every day her confidence in her own connection to these stories grew. One evening, sitting in the huge library, Rachel noticed that one of the shelves was not the same as the others. A dense cloud of dust at the corners hinted at her abandonment, and she, no longer surprised by the whisper of a strange inner voice, carefully pulled on the wooden carvings. The shelf, unexpectedly for her, set in motion a mechanism mounted in the wall. Rachel's curiosity made her step into the dark hallway that opened up in front of her. The passage led her to a room with black and white photographs, letters, and diaries left as a confession or testament by her ancestors. There was also a painting depicting the same charming woman from the dream, with whom all her discoveries began. Her eyes, blinking from the past, seemed to be trying to convey some important secret, to support and inspire Rachel on her further journey. An inscription was engraved on the bottom edge of the painting, which she did not immediately notice. "You are a reflection of our time. You have a new hope." One day, during another walk through the woods, Rachel came across an old mausoleum, a place whose existence had been hinted at by her diaries. The stone slabs were covered with moss, but the inscription spoke of a forgotten branch of her family. A box was found inside the mausoleum, which made her heart beat faster. Slowly opening it, she found a collection of antique jewelry and a small key made of dark iron. One night, after returning to the house, Rachel reopened the secret room and tried to find where this key might fit. Once in one of the antique living rooms, she felt a slight draft, feeling a breeze from an unknown crack in the wall. After several attempts, she discovered a small hidden lock in the fireplace carving. Her hands trembled as she turned the key, and suddenly the fireplace wall moved noiselessly, revealing another room filled with ancient artifacts and family heirlooms. Staying in this room filled with symbols of the past, Rachel realized that she had not only solved the mystery of her heritage, but also gained the invisible support of her ancestors. In her hands was not only the history of the family, but also a future filled with many possibilities, elevated by hope and knowledge, which she was able to bring back to life. Realizing this, Rachel breathed a sigh of relief and joy, feeling a thrill of anticipation for the new discoveries that lay ahead, and finally felt at home.